check it.
But it says here.
So do. No. So it's cool because like if you come here, you can come in here and then watch. And so see, it says there's 2 people that are waiting. And so and then it has a lag of about 3 seconds. So it's cool. It's like if you come here. Right. And so then you hear me. So I will turn that off so you can't hear me anymore. Okay. Back to presentation mode. All right. So there literally is a couple of us in the room. So those of you that are watching online, we're going to run through this stuff really quick, and we are here if you have questions. So if you are an online teacher, you can refer to Crystal, and Crystal has a bunch of great resources and is a wellspring of knowledge and information anyways. So you're more than welcome to contact any one of us. Let me just throw that out there. So between Crystal, myself, or Shanae, you can contact us. You can send us an email. You can just throw out a quick, hey, I have a question about this, or I'm talking about this, or I'd like to add this to my course. How do I make it accessible? So on and so forth. So today it's a really quick overview of kind of some accessibility understandings. So the federal understandings of why we do what we do, and then why our actual why as far as NNU is concerned, and how it fits within our mission and who it is that we are as a university. And then just some kind of tips and tricks and some tidbits to be kind of chewing on as you start to look at your courses and how you can make them more accessible. So there are some tools that we have within Canvas. There are some tools that are out that other universities have created. There's some great web resources, period, on accessibility checking and information and things like that. And then at the same time, again, the people here at NNU have a great amount of information as well. So moving forward. So the overarching why. There are basically 3 federal guidelines that we follow. There's a lot of information on this page. I'm not going to read it all, but there's a lot of information. There's 3 federal guidelines that we follow. And they're kind of the foundation and pillars of accessibility and disability services throughout the country. So they kind of overarch into not just education, but all forms of a person that has a disability of their life. So from education to the workforce to other governmental services, it kind of encompasses all of those things. So it's a civil right and civil liberty. Okay, so ADA started in 1990. That's kind of when it kind of came into existence. There were other things that were there previous to this, but this was the first all-encompassing kind of understanding federally that brought all of the disability services or accessibility understandings into one accord, basically. And there's 5 different sections, like I said before, that it kind of falls into or has categories of that encompass a person's area of their life. Okay. Section 504 talks about education reforms and initiatives. And a lot of it is intended for the public school system. However, because we are an education entity, we still fall under certain aspects of 504. And so as you can see, okay, it's Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, which was in the 70s. But this also then kind of got sucked up into ADA. So again, as you can kind of see that. Yep. And then the next one is 508. So 508 is an amendment to basically the Rehabilitation Act of 73, which is basically encompassing all electronic technology that has been developed by any federal government. So this kind of goes that same direction. It has to be maintained. So anything electronic, for example, like for Canvas or any documents that are put out on the web and things like that, they need to have an accessibility component built into them. So we also fall under this Section 508.
Why do we fall under this section if we're not a federal government entity?
Because we receive federal funds through financial aid. And so that is what's a great question. So that's why. And I get it a lot. It's, well, we're a private not-for-profit institution. So how does this apply to us? Why do we have to follow it? And it's because of financial aid. Because we receive funds through the federal government via financial aid, we then have to adhere to the federal guidelines, mandates, regulations, stipulations, et cetera, right? So on and so on. So if we don't want to, okay, I mean, hey, we don't have to take financial aid. If everybody just wants to pay out of pocket, we can do that. So that would, right, that would change our university just a little bit, and every other university on the planet. Okay. This is a great piece of information. We could spend all day talking about UDL. It is spectacular. It really is. So universal design, I put in learning. Sorry, that was my fault. So universal design for learning. Again, a set of principles that basically provide a structure that people can follow that give everyone equal opportunity to learn. So it makes no difference if you have a disability or not, whether it's a severe impairment or just a learning disability, right? You know, whatever it is a set of structures that allows or helps people to create or structure their content in such a way that gives everyone the same accessibility to it, no matter who they are, right? So it's just a great blueprint to help everybody learn at the same speed or at the same pace or in the same avenue, whether it's, again, providing a transcript for your videos, not because somebody has a disability and they need it, but because some people like that. Closed captions the same way, because you don't know where certain students might be watching that video, right? They could be in a coffee shop, they could be at a car wash, they could be anywhere. And what's funny is you ask the question a lot and say, hey, how many times have you done closed captions? Right? How many times have you ever done that? And people that don't have a disability, a lot of times will say, oh, I like that. You know, I like to, I have that on my TV, or I have that when I'm watching a movie, or, you know, whatever it is, because sometimes I can't fully understand what they're saying. And that allows me to understand what's going on. I like it a lot because I like foreign films. And especially, you know, I don't necessarily know the language, but it helps me to understand, because then I understand what it looks like. It really is necessary. I love the fact that it has a neuroscience base. So it really is talking about how people learn and the reasons why these are good tenets, because they really fit into how we learn as a person. So I love this little graphic here about the way we learn through neuroscience. So you've got recognition, the strategic networks, and then the affective networks. And again, I could spend all day talking about just the brain science behind UDL, but it really is phenomenal. And it's a spectacular way of trying to organize information. And it is something that we here at NNU are going to, and have adopted, and are going to continue to implement into our trainings and different things like that, because we really believe that this is one of the best ways to create our content and put it together in our courses and be able to deliver this to our students. So this is our why. So here, and this is something that Shanae put together, and I stole it because it's beautiful, and I think it hits exactly home where we are as a university. You know, creating things with accessibility and universal design in mind is vital to our mission as a university. You know, it's the tenet of transformation of the whole person, and it speaks to our values of transformation, truth, community, and service. It's so true. You know, it is. It's that understanding that we are here to help provide education to the whole person, regardless of who they are or what they come to the table with. That is our mission. That's our mandate. And we need to strive to fulfill that in all avenues. And then we as NNU, again, need to set the bar higher and meet things that are a step above, not just because it's an expectation. I heard nothing of what you just said. You want a snack? Is that what you said? No. What'd you say?
Here's a pause while Jesse's daughter is asking him.
You need to speak up. What did you ask? What did you need? I can't hear you.
One of the ways that I like to characterize UDL is to consider universal design and construction, like with buildings and infrastructure. And the curb cuts that we have in our sidewalks nowadays were originally designed so that someone with a wheelchair would be able to ride along the sidewalk and then easily go into the street and then catch the next sidewalk.
Yes.
But so many of us use those now. If you're using, if you have your baby in a stroller or
All the time.
your suitcase on wheels, whatever. So it benefits all of us, and that's the same kind of principle behind universal design for learning.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you for the segue, Crystal, because I needed that. But it is so true. And it is. And because I have a baby with me, I use it all of the time, right? Or you use the doors, the handicap accessible doors, where we click the button and they open automatically. Beautiful thing. I use them all the time. Not handicapped, but I have a stroller, and it's amazing because you can just roll right in. Or you got your hands full, right? Whatever it is. Okay, so a couple of different concepts for creation. And I will make the plug again that we, either in instructional design and technology or through NNU Online, we are all here and available to help. We can answer questions. We can point you in the right direction. We can provide you with additional materials, examples, whatever it is that you might need to be able to help facilitate whatever it is that you're trying to create or make accessible within your course or whatever it is that you're thinking about doing. So a couple of key thoughts. So headings is one of them. And headings, and I think people sometimes get it confused because they want to bold things or make font larger, and they think that that is a good way to put information together. And visually, it might be, but when you're using headings correctly, it gives your document a really good sense of structure. Also, when a screen reader picks that up, it actually gives the person who's needing the screen reader an understanding of the structure of the document. So it gives them the ability to skip between major pieces or whatever it is.
What's a screen reader?
That's a great question too. So a screen reader is actually an assistive technology that uses information on the screen, and it will actually read it in a specific order. So for example, if it goes to a website, it will read things in a specific way to a person that needs that service. So there are screen readers that work specifically with people that have like a visual impairment. There's screen readers that work specifically for people that have like an auditory impairment. So they basically will read the information on the screen and then categorize it. And one of the things about accessibility that people that don't have a disability, we tend to forget is that a lot of times we have the ability to look at things and see them and it makes sense to us. But when you are read something, it doesn't necessarily have that same look and feel. And I didn't realize that until I had actually listened to something be put through a screen reader, and you realize very quickly, oh my gosh, that's crazy. It will read every character of a URL as HTTPS : / whatever, www. It reads the entire thing. So again, when we're talking about students that use this type of technology, we really want to be creating things in a way that is helpful and beneficial to them. And using headings is one of those. And it's really easy, again, especially like in Word or even in Google, wherever it is that you are using, creating your documents and things like that. It's really easy to use those pieces because they're built into the toolbars now. They're built into wherever it is, right next to the font menus a lot of times, where you can go in and select your headings, and you've got H1, H2, H3, H4, and it builds them out for you. So next one is images or alt text. I'm sure some of you have heard us or someone mention the term alt text or alternative text or alt tag, whatever that might be. Basically what it is it is a term that's used to connect something to an image. So for example, if you're in your Canvas course and you have a picture in there, a screen reader is going to read the image as 6141962 dash whatever dot JPEG. That's what it's going to read it as. The alt tag is actually a descriptive text that you can put in there that will actually describe the picture. So for example, if you have a piece of Monet's art, Monet did art, right? I said that right? Okay, whew, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't throwing something else out there. You can actually, in an alt tag describe what it is that that image is. So you could say Monet's whatever work, you know, something like that. That way the screen reader is going to read it as what it actually is instead of whatever other text is associated with that particular image. And it's very beneficial, especially for your students that use screen readers. Most of the other time, no one else is going to understand or see it unless you have like a mouse over or rollover, something like that, that pops up when you roll over the image. But that really is what that is used for. And there's a beautiful tool, there's two beautiful tools in Canvas that allow you to edit those without actually having to go into the HTML to add that information in. And again, that's something that we can show you how to do. Color contrast in usage. This is a really big one, especially for people that have visual impairments like color blindness or just visual impairments, period. This is one of those things where you want to have specific contrasts and specific colors. You want to make sure that you are either using them in a specific way or not using them at all, because certain colors for certain people they can't actually see them. And so you might actually have like a block of text on your Canvas course that's like a specific color, and that person that is colorblind can't read it at all. So it just looks like a bunch of white space to them, like they physically can't read it because they can't physically see it. And so, and again, sometimes you have to be careful too of the font colors that you're using, because again, you might think that it's cool or fun or whatever, but in all honesty, it makes it, even for people that don't have a visual impairment, really hard to understand, right, what they're doing or what that actually looks like or whatever it is. I've seen courses that have like a yellow font, but it's like really light yellow, and it's probably really pretty in other respects, but I can't see it, and students have a hard time. And so again, you want to just make sure that if you're using font colors, that they actually fall within what would be considered like an acceptable usage color or something like that. And again, there are tons of resources out there that have information for you to be able to figure out what that is. For example, this one here. So there's this WebAIM color contrast checker, which is spectacular. It is a terrific resource. And I'm going to make sure that you can actually see that. And you can, beautiful. Okay, just making sure. All right. So in here you can actually pick your colors, and it actually uses the WCAG, which is an accessibility guideline. I know what it stands for, but I totally just lost what it stands for.
Web content accessibility guidelines?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. Anyways, it is what everybody uses. So anybody that designs anything for accessibility on the web uses WCAG. And right now it's 2.0 is the standard that everybody uses. 2.1 is still in revision, but out this spring sometime. But anyways, as you can see here, right, you've got colors. It talks about contrast ratios. And again, you can see here, right, it'll tell you that if a specific color passes or fails. So you can change certain things, right? And so now you notice, right, as it does that, my colors, so you can see here, right, will change, but now it's failing because it's not technically accessible, or it's really difficult for people, to be able to use certain things. And again, you've got, right, now you have to change certain things for it to pass, and if you want to use that color. So again, this is a great resource, this contrast checker. It is beautiful. If you want to use color, then you have to talk about now background colors to use and different things like that. So anyways, again, I could spend all day talking about colors.
Generally speaking, you want to avoid using red or green as your font colors, because a lot of people who are colorblind can't see those colors.
Yep, exactly. Okay, links. So one of the big ones we are trying to get everybody to walk away from is this whole, at the end of a sentence, click here. And then the link is then attached to the words click here. What is better, a better representation, is to actually, when you're typing out a specific sentence, then then the link goes along with that piece of information. It then gets added to that specific block of text or the words that are descriptive of what the link actually is taking them to, or whatever that is. So you're using descriptive words. Now you're describing specific links and how they look. So for example, I love what Penn State does. So I will probably refer to them all of the time because they have terrific resources as far as accessibility examples are concerned. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel if I don't have to. So for example, these are beautiful. I love these. Again, unclear links. Oh, look, it says click here, right? Or learn more about color and accessibility here and here. One story, right? So you see what we're talking about here. There really isn't anything to describe what the link actually is. And so for people that are using screen readers or whatever that is, that's really difficult for them because they don't, think about it for a second and realize you're just listening, okay? That you don't see anything, you're just listening to the words. Whereas if you're over here, notice how the link is the instructions for the new Penn State web tool, right? So this is the link. It's going to, in the screen reader, it's going to read that. And then at the end of it, it's going to say link attached or link to or something like that. There's a nomenclature that's attached to that, which then gives the person who's listening to it through the screen reader the understanding that, oh, that's a link I can click on that will take me over there. Okay. Another one over here too, right? So you can see, story 1, and then they give the directions of read more. So that gives you the understanding of, again, when you're looking at it or listening to it through the screen reader, there's more information that I can use via that link for the first story. Or the syllabus. This one's my favorite one of here's my syllabus. That's a PDF. And then if I have a Word document, that's a syllabus. They have another one that's right there too. So that way, whatever I'm doing, I can see what that looks like. So, not physically, but virtually see. I know that the syllabus in PDF form is at this link, or the syllabus in Word document form is at this link. Canvas is tremendous, and I could sing praises of Canvas all day. One of the things that I really like about them is that they are on top of their accessibility. They are AAA accessibility rated, which means that everything that they have is as accessible as possible at the moment for what it is that they do. They have a ton of guidelines, and I linked them here because I don't, honestly, again, I could spend another hour talking about just the accessibility pieces and how they all work within Canvas and all of those things. So again, you can see here, right, supports screen readers. So they work with JAWS, which is one that I know a lot of people have. They have VoiceOver, which is what Safari uses in Mac. And then they've got this other one, which I haven't used, but I know that it's compatible for Firefox. It's loading. You're good. Again, they've got navigation, right? So the navigation works within Canvas so that people understand, and the screen reader knows where the main navigation and the context and the different things are, so it can read those and people can follow along. And again, it's got all of these other great things. You can find it in the Canvas community by just typing in the search bar for accessibility, and it will come up right away. And then third-party tools are a little different. So they don't.
You were saying.
Thanks, Siri. They don't necessarily track or monitor how third-party tools use accessibility. So they do ask that they make their content accessible, but it's not something that they monitor, again, like they do with the main instance of Canvas. I do want to point out these two really cool pieces though. So here is Salsa. It is really awesome. So you can actually take your syllabus and you put it into this application, and it will build your syllabus that not only is visually appealing, but also is really accessible by screen reader. So it really is really cool. It's something that I've been working on for my class that I will teach in the summer to see what it actually is going to look like and what it's actually going to do. And then the other one is this piece called Universal Design for Online Content Inspection Tool, or UDoIT. So in all of our Canvas courses, we have the UDoIT option installed. So you can click on it and it will actually run, excuse me, a report for you, and it'll check everything. So it basically checks your syllabus, your content pages, your files, your pictures, all of those things, and then it will generate you a report, and then it gives you the option to fix it. So you can actually click on those things, fix them right there, click save, and it will actually then put all of those changes right back into your course for you. So it's really, really phenomenal, really, really awesome. And I think, yep, that's it. So again, super fast overview. Basically just to tell you that we have lots of tools that are available. There's lots of things that are available as far as what we have within our offices, and then what we have access to in the greater internet world that we'd love to be able to share with you and help you implement and put into your course. Yes. So again, we have another session tomorrow. And then on Friday, we have our open lab time, which we would love to sit down with anybody that wants to come and talk accessibility and things like that. In 2 weeks, we are having Accessibility 102, which is going to focus on documents. So it's going to talk about PDFs, Word documents, presentations, things like that you would put into your course. So that's in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, we are having media. So we're going to talk about videos, closed captioning, how to record things, how to make transcripts of things using SRT files or whatever it is you have available to you using certain services that are on the web and different things like that. So all of those things are available to us, and we're going to continue to highlight those for you. And then again, we're also talking about greater NNU things, but we'll keep you posted on those as they become available. You guys have anything else to add? Oh, yes. Crystal made this really spectacular accessibility policy. It is guide. Thank you. It is a guide. So hold on one second. Escape.
So this is a Google Doc that anyone with the link can view. And the URL is http://capital-NNU-accessibility-guide. Hyphen or dash?
Dash, hyphen. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So see, look what I just did for you. I put it in the presentation. Dun, dun, dun. So there it is. And to test it to make sure that it actually works. And it works. Yay. So there it is, which is awesome. And I looked at this earlier, and I was commending Crystal on her creation of this because it is really, really phenomenal. It really is. It's definitely something that we need. And again, you'll see in the coming months that we are continuing to kind of push this initiative forward because we have lots of things on the table. And we know that as a university, we definitely need to make sure that we are on the forefront of working this and walking it out. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact either us at Instructional Design or Crystal at NNU Online. And we will be happy to help you in any way that we possibly can. So thanks, guys, for the couple of you that are watching, and those of you that watch later, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Bye.